Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Piney podcast. My name is Tony D, and today we are talking about Lucy the elephant. Lucy the elephant, for those of you who don't know, is a giant elephant-shaped building, stands about 65 feet tall, and it is in Margate, and it's a historical landmark now, but it's definitely part of South Jersey and the Pines, because it's in South Jersey, even though it's on the beach. But it has an interesting history. I mean, I've been doing research on it for the novellas I'm writing, the novellas which will all be taking place in South Jersey. So I had to do a little research into Lucy. Lucy was built in 1881 by a guy by the name of James Lafferty, and Lafferty actually got the patent on animal-shaped buildings for a while. So if you can imagine having the patent on that would be kind of sweet. Although it was 1881, so I can't imagine building an animal-shaped building was something that could be done very quickly or would have a lot of use. But he did it. And they used about 1 million pieces of wood to build Lucy, and this was in 1881. Now the boardwalk itself, I think, was built in 1870 down at the shore. Well, that would have been the Atlantic City boardwalk, and this at the time, it wasn't called Margate, it was called South Atlantic City. And it wasn't called Lucy the Elephant at that time. Originally it was called Elephant Bazaar, and it was used as a roadside attraction and to drive real estate sales in Atlantic City, which is interesting considering, all that property was on the beach, and who wouldn't want beachfront property. But this is 1881, so you got to figure, I went down to AC and that area when I was a kid. It was developed, but it was less developed. So I caught the very tail end when I was very young. This would be the 70s. You could still see the kind of houses they had. These weren't 1881 houses. These were like 1940 houses, 1950. And those kind of shore houses, it looked like a fishing village, because all the houses were up on pylons, but not like how they built houses on pylons in, say, Ocean City today. They were more like literally a house, and then the big giant pylons underneath supporting it all. And then sometimes they build those kind of out already in the water, and then there'd be a dock between the houses, which was kind of it was sort of like a street, but it wasn't like the actual street, like you could drive on it. You had to park somewhere else and then walk down to it. And there was still a bridge that was made of wood that I remember my father drove across one time, and I thought we were going into the water. That's how scary it was going over that bridge. But within a few years, they were tearing all that stuff down and rebuilding it. When in the 80s, when the casinos came, all the old Atlantic City stuff went away, which was a shame. I think they should have kept some of it. I was particularly upset that Trump tore down the Steel Pier, which was famous for the diving horse and the diving bell, which was really. And they had some kind of little mini arena there for musical acts. And it was, it was a historical landmark. I really think Trump should have kept it and revitalized it. And then he announced he was going to just rebuild the whole thing, which sort of begged the question, well, why'd you tear it down? And then, the thing they built, I don't know if Trump built it, but they did build a pier that was shaped like a giant boat. But anyhow, getting back to Lucy. So they built her in 1881, and Lafferty owned her for a while and then sold her, I think in 1887 to the, I think they're called the Gertzen family. And at that time, the owner's daughter-in-law nicknamed the elephant Lucy. And this was a little later, around 1902, and Lucy kind of stuck, and everybody started to call it Lucy the elephant, which was a lot more fun. And I guess by that time it was more of a fun attraction. I mean, because really, when you think about it, late 1800s, early 1900s, what are you going to do? I mean, you got the beach, okay, but you need something like somewhere to go. And, you know, the boardwalk then was probably, you know, I mean, I guess you're talking right before Boardwalk Empire times, but I mean, really, it probably didn't have that much going on for it. So, I mean, definitely it was a place that needed an attraction like Lucy. And the family kept the elephant until 1970, which I thought was pretty amazing run. Now, I remember the elephant falling apart when I was a kid because they had a big drive. It was actually set for demolition at one point, and then they had a fundraising effort to restore Lucy and save her and have her designated a historical landmark. And now she's all rebuilt and looks great. But back in the day, I remember seeing the pictures in the newspaper, and my family was thinking about going to see Lucy the elephant, and I looked at the picture in the paper and I was like, it's falling apart. Who wants to go into that, you know? But now it looks great. You know, it's all rebuilt. It's all nice. You can go online and check it out and see the interior. And it's kind of interesting to me that a place like that, it's sort of created its own history just by being built and just by enduring that long, right? So what do you get to see in an elephant-shaped building, right? I mean, in 1881, I guess they probably sold some knickknacks or whatever, but now it's like the great history of Lucy the elephant and all the stuff I just said being explained to you while you're there, along with, you know, newspapers and footage from in the history of the many years of Lucy enduring the hurricanes or whatever. I read that during Hurricane Sandy, she was fine, but like a ticket booth nearby blew over, and that was the only thing. So, you know, Lucy the elephant has been featured in various TV shows over the years. She was featured in the opening of one of the old vacation movies, and then the newer one with Ed Helms in the postcard segment, which I thought was interesting, like, because, you know, the guys who made the movie obviously watched the first one and then just said, oh, well, we got to put, you know, the same attractions in the postcard montage. So they kept Lucy in. And she was in Atlantic City and a couple other movies. You know, hasn't been a focal point really for anything other than one of the I guess it was a History Channel or one of those type of channels had that show, you know, After Humans or whatever. It was a show about showing different things and how they would deteriorate over time if humans suddenly disappeared, and things would, you know, grow over it and destroy it. So Lucy was a subject on that, and obviously she's made out of wood, so, you know, first good hurricane comes along, she's done. But you know, you could see Lucy the elephant in Margate now and walk around on her insides. It's not a ride, you know, it's just a building that's shaped like an elephant with like a gift shop, and then you can go up in the you know, the part that sits on the elephant's back, and there's a little balcony up there. And that's about it, really. I mean, it, you know, that's about all you could expect in 1881 to have a roadside attraction. I mean, walking up some stairs and, you know, buying a keychain, I guess. So that's it for the Piney podcast this time. Hope you enjoy it, and We'll see you next time, Piney. Check out my Patreon. Check out my comics on the Webcomic Factory and Super Frat, of course. And keep watching the videos. Smash like and make a comment. All right. See ya.